The markets are absolutely bleeding right now on the news of potential further escalation in the Iran conflict. Just as predicted in the last video, this has led to liquidations of leverage long positions in the market. I am still long, still up about $250 on my Bitcoin leverage long trade, but that is because we got in well before the pump effectively, and that means that we've got room to ride out the volatility essentially. But I am glad that I de-risked some of that trade in the last video. Let's get right into it and break down everything for you here. So as you can see, first of all, still in my long trade, currently up $276, despite the fact that the market is down over, well, since highs of the weekend, down about 3.28%. And it is down for pretty much exactly the reasons that we described in the last video that I broke down for you. Long liquidations, right? Far too many people, instead of getting long down at 65 on the red candle, like I did, okay, 65K, far too many people got in long on this big green candle that we had on the 6th of April. And what happens when you get long after the green candle comes in? You basically set yourself up with short-term expectations, and short-term expectations tend to be disappointed very rapidly, right? As soon as the market pulls back just a little bit, those leverage long positions inevitably become liquidated and prices move down very, very quickly. It's the exact same thing we described here. It's the exact same thing that we described here. These were my case studies for why I thought that a pullback was likely. Just adjust the camera there a little bit. And the proof's in the pudding, all right? You can see over the last 24 hours, $138 million worth of long positions liquidated out of the market, never to be seen again. Short-term expectations, short-term disappointment, very quick disappointment, and prices come down. What is spurring this on? Well, instead of a ceasefire and instead of a potential end to the conflict, we've got more aggressive language from Trump, and we've got more selling, potentially more escalations coming. Unfortunately, and I really don't like being right about this, but this is also what we spoke about in the last video, okay? Everyone gets really optimistic on the lightest sniff of some good news. And then when the inevitable happens, because we've seen this flip-flop time and again, and things get aggressive again, yeah, things come down and people get disappointed about it, even though it's the same pattern that we're seeing time and again. This is the latest from Trump. This is a repost of the Truth Social post that basically set fire to the markets. And this is pretty shocking stuff, right? By any means. Tuesday will be power plant day and bridge day all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it! Exclamation. Open the fucking straits, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah, President Donald J. Trump. I mean, I really don't know what to say about that at this point. The BBC calling that an expletive-laden threat to Iran over Hormuz Strait blockage. And I think this was a follow-up. A whole civilization will die tonight if Iran doesn't make a deal as the US hits Karg Island. So, obviously, that's promises of escalation, right? Clearly, okay, this is disappointing to the market, but in at least some sense, we're getting used to this sort of rhetoric, right? So this is why we haven't just fallen through the floor. Once again, it's threats. Okay, it's not necessarily empty threats, but it's not those threats aren't being carried out just yet in potentially the same way. I mean, obviously a massive threat, but that's kind of where we are right now. US markets just opening round about now. We're kind of yet to see a reaction in there, which is also going to be part of the reason why we haven't just hit the floor right now. Further to that, as I spoke about in the last video, we know that Iran isn't afraid to stay in this war, right? And we know that they can afford to stay in this war basically with much cheaper equipment than the US can. Not that I'm saying the US is about to run out of money to fight this war, but my point is Iran is clearly more than happy to stay in this situation. They're not just being absolutely steamrolled like Trump would like to have you believe. Last week we had the example of the F-15 fighter jet being shot down by Iran using a surface-to-air missile. And in the rescue mission of the 2 crew members of that, the US lost another 2 aircraft that they had to destroy because they were damaged and they couldn't leave them where they were effectively. It's immensely expensive stuff. But clearly Iran isn't defenseless against this kind of onslaught. So they're happy to stay in until they've got terms that are happy with them. Really, the only good that could come of this, is going to be Iran actually capitulating. But honestly, just seeing what we've seen already, it doesn't seem entirely likely anytime soon. And it's yet to see, we're yet to see as well, like I've said, exactly how the market reacts to this. Oil is reacting, which, as we know, is not good for inflation being the main thing, which is not good for, in turn, monetary policy, liquidity, which is not good for the markets. Risk assets don't like uncertainty anyway, and crypto, Bitcoin, is a risk asset. On the bright side, yeah, we haven't absolutely tanked on this news. But like I keep saying, I am long short term, right? Bullish short term, just based on this structure, based on how we haven't tanked, and based on how we know, as always, a lot of people love getting short on these red candles, and we're still yet to come up and challenge some of those shorts, i.e. liquidate them, i.e. force them to buy, i.e. take supply off the market and bring prices up. We know that the market is very sensitive to good-ish news right now, okay? Look, case in point, this big green excuse me, this big green day on the rumor that a ceasefire was near, and this big green day on the rumor that a ceasefire was near. This thing can't, touch wood, hopefully, can't go on forever. And any sort of whisper of positive news does bring about decent pumps versus the sell-offs on bad news. But caveat to all of that, of course, this is incredibly volatile stuff. This is a very volatile time for the market, very volatile time for the world, for global markets. So do watch out for that. But the thesis that got me into this long trade keeps me in this long trade, right? And as I explained in the last video, we de-risked, we took out 30% of this trade. That resulted in plus $200. Just move myself so you can see that there on the trade history. $200 up on this trade so far. Yeah, it's not going to change the world. It's not going to change my portfolio, but we're taking profits out because it's a risky position to be in right now, to be long. But my position sizing is reflective of that. And remember, we're long from 65K. Okay, that's why we're still up in profit in this trade. We're not just jumping in on the bandwagon every time there's a hint at positive news and every time everyone decides to get long. We try to be long before that type of situation happens, which is why I got long with limit orders when we were selling off for all the reasons that I've just explained. Starting to sound like a bit of a stuck record. But being a stuck record means the pattern's still working, means potentially you could take advantage of it if you wanted to. But that's not a recommendation. That is purely my opinion. And if you enjoy listening to my opinions, consider subscribing. I do post these videos every single day. If you're curious how I make money to fund my trading accounts, to fund my investment portfolio, go and take a look at my second channel linked in the description. Spoiler alert, I sell other people's products and services online. This is known as remote closing or high ticket sales in popular vocabulary. That's what I've been doing for the last couple of years. That's how I fund these trades. I never trade with money that I don't have to lose, can't afford to lose. That will keep you more emotionless in these trades. It will keep you more pragmatic in trades, and you've got to have money to trade with, right? Anyone who tells you that they make money solely from trading and that's how they survive, be very, very suspicious of that. There's very few people in the world who actually do that because it is incredibly, ridiculously risky, and there's virtually no upside to only doing that. That's about all I've got to say for right now. Thank you so much for watching. Plenty more to come. And once again, short-term trading strategies, patterns like I'm describing here, this is not the bulk of what we're doing here, right? The bulk of what I'm doing here is to invest in Bitcoin, potentially other coins later down the line while they're cheap, and hold on to them for the next bull market, because I do believe there will be another bull market one day. Thanks so much for watching. Plenty more to come. Stay safe out there. Catch you in the next one.